Because you know what happens sometimes with families especially that are members of, that have kids named Styler.
Yeah.
A lot of times they get wiped out by the father.
Oh, no.
And there is this one story I did want to talk about that is a family annihilator.
Oh, God,
we have
this
another
guy
one.
is so freaking creepy
This guy
looking.
is very, it's very fucked up. He murdered his whole family in Celebration, Florida.
Oh,
which is,
my
if you know anything about
God.
Celebration, Florida, ask Jackie Zabrowski about Celebration, Florida, if you want to, because she was obsessed for a long period of time. It is
Why?
a highly controlled, basically it's a what would you call it? It's a gated community.
They called it a planned community.
It is it is
as
very,
opposed to an unplanned community,
which is called a homeless shanty town. This is a there actually is a lot of planning that goes into a shanty town.
I need to go camping because around Los Angeles there's a bunch of tents.
Sometimes
and I look
you
at
get
them like,
jealous.
that's a nice tent. I saw somebody get out of their tent
You're
the
the
other day.
opposite of Joe Rogan.
I saw somebody of course, always. I saw somebody get out of their tent yesterday, and it looked like whimsical because he like rubbed his eyes, and he was like, "Oh,
yawn."
My God,
Yeah,
isn't
no.
that nice and cozy."
It is nice. It's your old joke. No, you're not homeless. You're home more.
Always home.
But in Celebration, it is a
Oh
place.
my
It is
gosh.
very, very expensive to live there. It is. I mean, it's right next to Disney World. It's a horrible place. And if you live in Celebration, Florida, get out. You will be murdered by your father. Now, this is a guy named Anthony Todd. He's a former, I think, former Connecticut physical therapist, and his job. Him and his family were moving back and forth from Connecticut to Celebration, in what appears to be him avoiding a bunch of fraud allegations.
Oh, I see.
He is defaulted on a bunch of loans, which is kind of what you happen to see a lot of times with family annihilators. But it also came up across the same time period when him and his wife, Megan Todd, became obsessed with various YouTube videos that explained to them this concept of, you're all going to die. We're all going to die soon. So the only thing that we got to do, and I'm saying this to our Patreon listeners, to all of our listeners, it's really important, is that if you want to get good with God right before you go, you have to kill your family and yourself in a controlled, forgiven manner that allows all of you to enter into the afterlife together.
You know, now, unfortunately, this is biblical. There is some biblical truth to this. I feel like no child was safe in the Bible era.
No.
And I feel like these parents really took it way too literally. And now their children are dead. And if you look at them, they look monsters hiding in plain sight.
Does he really?
He looks
look
fairly
at him.
normal.
He looks like the corrupt cop from the original Batman.
Well, in the mugshot picture, yes. But let's be honest. Take a look at this picture of the kids at the beach as he's fantasizing about killing them.
Yes, he is thinking about killing them immediately.
You know, and he's a good father. Well, before all the murders, because he's got he's got the sunglasses.
That
say, I'm cool, but I'm also practical.
No, he just looks like it's that fucking Trump Oakley look. You know what I mean? It's the guys, all those pictures, it's the Twitter.
Oh,
80s.
He's an alpha.
Yeah, he's an alpha.
And this guy is definitely an alpha.
So he killed it was a 4-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 13-year-old, and their dog Breezy.
What the fuck is, man?
Breezy was not happy about it. So this all happened fairly quickly. So Anthony, I watched, they put out, because again, what's awesome about Florida is the fact that they have the Sunshine State laws.
Yes.
So we get everything. So I watched about an hour of his confession tapes. Because he confessed to the entire thing. It's very interesting to see. Anthony Todt started watching. So all of this happened, they believe, somewhere around Christmas is when he killed all the kids.
Oh my God.
They started watching the YouTube videos in April. Right?
He really got hooked in fast.
Very, very fast.
How the fuck did a YouTube
videos?
These are grown adults. This is why it's very dangerous.
It is. How many people have we lost to YouTube videos, quote unquote, doing your own research? Guess what? YouTube is not research. It's not. It's just a bunch of other people just talking.
All I know is right here, what do I have in my pocket? A lot of loose change.
Oh, that's how this all started. And you remember that when you're listening to us talk, we are not your research. We are two funny guys that come up with some stuff. And a lot of times, Kitzel made the hero of the week was water last week.
And I
did. I got reminded by my fucking rude Duners, Rise Up, Dune, that obviously water is a spiritual element to the Dune books. I want to say thank you for Ellie for reminding me for that. Yes, it's true. It's absolutely true. I know, but still.
I did have one person who protested. They said it would be nice if you got back to people. But you know what, my friend? Aren't we 98% water.
The heroes choose themselves.
That's right.
That's the
This
thing.
week's
Each
hero
week
again.
they arrive. The heroes arrive. But okay.
This guy is not hero.
No, he's not hero of the week. But if you watch these videos, so the timeline was really, really short.
Oh my God.
He then went to, he was already planning it because, so what he's not saying is, he's
Right.
front loading all of this religious stuff. He's saying, we've been watching the YouTube videos. We really got into this. Me and my wife agreed. We need to kill the kids. We're going to need to kill the kids first. And eventually the wife.
Sometimes I thought marriage was about compromise. So wouldn't the wife say, "That's funny you
One.
said
One of the kids.
it," or yes, I don't know, give them up for adoption or something like that. But anyway,
No. Well, it's because the wife seemed to have been.
she seemed to be into it.
She's got that sort of like, is she an Elizabeth Warren or is she a Boebert? You know what I mean? She's got that look. Like she could be one, she could be the other. But they walked into this story. They got into this world. They fell into this world, this YouTube hole, and they
Yeah.
decided kids gotta go. But what it seems to be
But you
is
had
that
3 of them.
oh, yes. But it seems to be that the father's fraud allegations were also piling up, much to the non-knowledge of his wife.
Okay.
His wife wasn't really aware of how much trouble that he was in Connecticut, which is why they impromptu moved back to Florida. They went and they escaped Connecticut. He's under a
Right.
lot of hot water. He just stopped paying his bills, which again, we see normally that is the #1 seed for family annihilators is that the money goes.
Economic stress. Yeah, this guy looks like a pop zit. It really is. Now that I look at the mugshot again, and to be fair, who's taking the picture? It's not like it's very fancy. The mugshot. But he
Natalie
looks pretty
explained
horrible.
that Natalie got arrested one time for a DOI that she did not do, and it all got
Okay.
expunged, all that kind of shit. But she went and she started crying at the mugshot thing, but this was in downtown. This was in the middle of Hollywood, and the photographer they were like, "Don't cry, don't cry. All the starlets get their mugshots taken here." Paris Hilton got her mugshot taken here. Like, it was
what world are we living in?
It's incredible.
Oh my God.
To get back, so he went and he started researching. So then he said he went to a website called Quora, which is my
course.
favorite website. It has replaced Yahoo Answers as the new place to ask your guileless, most vulnerable. Like, it's all like, does my dog love me?
Yes.
What would I be like when I'm old? But they also
Same
have
as you are now.
See, basically. But what they
And
also
they also
have,
tell you what to put in your vagine. And don't
See,
listen, because
don't.
unless
you own a vagine and you
Yes.
put a bunch of fruit up in there and you saw what
buddy,
it does to
I got
your
a
whole-
lot of DMs about garlic.
Well, garlic you can put in.
No,
and then
you're not supposed to.
V, my friend, said she put garlic up her vagina and it
Yeah.
helped her do what? Become Italian? But I don't think so. But she said she liked it.
I always love when you have a vagina that says, "When you're here, your family."
When you're here, your
but isn't
family.
that also disgusting?
It is. Watch the movie V, which is also very good. VIY. But so he went to Quora around September, looking up innocently, because he said that because he knew that he'd get flagged. Because he said if you look
Yeah.
up certain terms on Quora, you only get a couple of times to go. So you can't say suicide. You can't say how do I kill
My family.
So
Right.
he looked up the term knife handling tactics.
Oh my
And
God.
knife
Wait,
attacks.
hold on. He Googled knife handling tactics
Yes.
on Quora.
On Quora.
This is actually one of the times you go to InfoWars. The man wasn't even on the right website for violence. Quora, the most amount of, they think sneezing is violence. Quora is not a place to get answers about how to kill.
He being led by God. God told him where to go. You had to go to the Quora. God told him.
God
and he
is wrong.
And he learned always. And he learned that, I guess, because he found his way through. He had to look. He said I had to use several methods. I had to use my iPad. I had to use my phone
moron.
because they
Oh
keep
my
getting
God.
locked out of accounts. And he learned some way of stabbing them up through the stomach. Like he was like, it's incorrect. Whatever he learned was incorrect.
No, he learned the same way that Artie Lang learned. Apparently it didn't work.
Yes.
Because he ended up stabbing his wife in the stomach.
Well, it's all
But
over
then
the
it
place.
didn't work.
It's all over the place. So
This
he said
man
that they
is-
tried once. He said one time they tried to kill the kids by putting a bunch of Benadryl and Sleep Ease in a Jell-O pie, in a freezer pie.
Oh, this is
and
so
feeding it out to the
sad.
kids. But guess what? Everybody just went to sleep. And honestly, it seems kind of nice. But it was a failed murder attempt. And then the next time what he did was because then him and the wife decided it was time. They wanted to do it at Christmas because they felt that they were closer to God in a way, that we could do it now for Christmas. And we can really pump this out. The kids are already on vacation.
And these are not young. I mean, obviously, the child is Zoe. She's super young, but it's a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. And they're both boys. At some point, you're like, you think mom and dad are trying to kill us?
Well, the thing is, he says they floated it to the kids. He said that over the months leading up,
oh my gosh,
he were asking them questions of like, how would you feel if mommy and daddy died?
What in the hell kind of parenting method is this?
Well, they said they ask him like, how would you feel if mommy and daddy would die? And they all said, like, we wouldn't like that.
We would be very upset.
But then they said, if we die, they kept framing it in a way that maybe they could get out of this. So they're like, well, what if you could come with us to heaven? And the kids were like, yeah, okay, yeah,
Isn't
go to heaven.
a place on earth? And
No.
wouldn't Celebration, Florida be the place?
It's
that
in a casket. Heaven's in a fucking casket.